hostesses or stewards on board. I've been here for about 5 weeks, and I applied after seeing a documentary called The Surgery Ship, which they made a few years ago. It was an Australian documentary, and it's been airing back home for a while, but I understand now it's on Amazon Prime, I think, in the States recently. And I just thought it was so cool. It was on my bucket list, and I applied after seeing that.
That's awesome.
So I'm Rachel. I'm one of the hostesses on board. I first heard about Mercy Ships from a friend who was a photographer back in Madagascar, and we worked at the same camp together, and she came back and talked a lot about it. And so then I followed on Instagram and have been kind of keeping up with the happenings on the ship for the past few years, and finally decided to apply last year.
That's awesome. And then you came back?
Yeah, so I was here for 3 months. I spent a lot of my time in shipyard, which is really interesting.
It's very different too.
Yeah, very different than field service.
Yeah.
And was here for about 3 months, went home for a semester of school, and then am here again for about 5 months. Right now, we are sorting 700 cookies. So,
700. Do you do this often?
No.
Or just like the fun?
No, this doesn't happen often. We're actually, we have a big event tomorrow, and Chaplaincy requested 500 cookies. So
people can just request it.
Yeah, they respectfully requested.
Okay. Yes.
It was very respectful.
That's awesome. Well, tell us then, because I know cookies can be the fun side, but what are you doing most of your time in hospitality and hosting?
It's a real mix, which is really nice. We get to do lots of different things. We joke that all the random jobs that no other department on board either wants to do or knows how to do come to us.
We don't really know who does this, so I think hospitality should do it.
You do that. I think I've seen no one else more than you guys when I walk around the ship. You're in every corner of the ship, so I believe that for sure.
On an average day, I do at least 10,000 steps around the time.
Yeah, same.
About 60 flights of stairs.
Yep.
So what is this function for that you're doing right now?
This is a vision trip lunch. So there's a bunch of people who are from the Netherlands and are they from Sweden? Yes, who are here visiting, and so we're putting on a nice little lunch for them.
How often do you think you would set up functions and meals for vision teams? Is this often?
Pretty often, yeah. It depends on the week. Sometimes we have weeks that go by that we don't set up anything. But then sometimes we have 4 or 5 functions in a week. So
okay, interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about the hospitality team? How many people are on the team? Do you need any experience to join?
Well, actually, the team fluctuates. The hospitality department actually has the highest turnover rate on the ship.
Really?
So a couple weeks ago, we had 6 people on the team. Now we have 3 people on the team, and we'll have 6 again at some point, but then more people will leave and more people will come. There isn't any experience required to join the team. We kind of learn everything as we go along. All of us kind of come from very different backgrounds. Yeah. Most of all of us who are on the team have very different jobs back home, so this is just something that's a little bit different. Yeah.
Which is helpful because I think a lot of people look at the Mercy Ships website application page and they're like, oh, I'm probably I'm not what they're looking for, or I don't have the skills. But I've been talking to a lot of people and they're saying we'll teach you once you're here.
Yes.
So you feel like you're you really jumped into it easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Everyone's so welcoming and friendly.
Oh yeah, for sure. We were definitely eased into it. I feel like we started off doing duty hostess and stuff, but it was not too difficult, I would say. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The one thing that you do have to be pretty fit. We do a lot of walking and a lot of climbing onto top bunks, and so if you've got a bum knee or a hip or something, then it would be really difficult. But
Yeah,
everyone
it's a
else,
good tip right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone
Everyone
do
else
lots of walking.
Yes.
You won't get those mercy hips. Working.
No mercy hips. I love it. What's the most challenging part about working in hospitality?
I think we embark all the new people onto the ship. So when you first arrive, we'll be the people that go through paperwork with you and stuff like that, which is good because you get to meet lots of different people. But it can be hard sometimes when it's 11:30 at night and you've got a big group. Yeah.
And also sometimes we have 20 arrivals at the same time, so that can be difficult to organize the group.
Yeah, I would imagine. And if you could summarize your job in a sentence or two of what you're helping the ship do, do you have like a sentence or two?
We do a lot of work to make the background lives of all the staff on board, all the doctors and nurses, just a little bit
Easier, more beautiful.
Yeah, it's stuff you don't really notice or think about, but if we took it away,
Yeah.
It would definitely be very different.
Yeah. I mean, especially even when I took my guests into their room and there was like a water bottle and a note and cookies and towels left on the beds. But you don't think about all the work it takes to make sure that's done for hundreds of cabins.
Yeah, definitely. I think a big part of our job is making guests and people who are kind of seeing the ship and donors and stuff have, you know, more of a comfortable and also just welcoming experience. A big part of our job is definitely making people feel welcome.
Yeah.
And, yeah, because we are kind of the people who are like their first impression of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting because it's like you get to be the one who shows them things for the first time, and like this is their first encounter on a ship. So it can, it's really
That's really cool. I really enjoy that. I think we're all conscious as well that it's really scary. Like some people have like quit their jobs, sold their houses, and moved here for a year.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's a huge life commitment. Like, we're really conscious that we try and make those first few hours and minutes as positive as possible.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're really
definitely.
comfortable and let them come home.
Because, like, yeah, especially when they come onto the ship and you're, like, explaining the emergency procedures and things like that. And, like, there could be a fire drill, there could
They're
be
like,
an
"Oh my
alarm,"
gosh.
And, yeah, and it's just explaining all the different aspects of it to them, it can seem really overwhelming. So our job of kind of, like, condensing things and making it seem more manageable and helping people just understand that, you know, like, it's all, you know, easy and you'll get used to it. Also, we tell people a lot, like, this may seem like a lot right now and it could be really overwhelming, but as you're here, like, you'll get used to everything and you'll find your way around the ship, even though you think that you're going to get lost
Yes.
sometime. Like, it happens to all of us, but
It'll
you
be
know,
okay.
Yeah, just take things in stride. And
Yeah.
that's usually, you know, how we try to do things.
Best thing about living on a ship though, you can get lost, but you just have to keep turning left and you'll always come around.
Hey everyone, I'm here with Andreas. He is our senior chaplain aboard the ship. And one of you had asked if I could do a little video about what chaplains do. And so I have the one and only senior chaplain here.
Here we are.
He is the source of all knowledge. So Andreas, could you tell us a little bit about yourself first, how you ended up here on the ship, and what it is you do as a senior chaplain?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm from Switzerland. We're here with a family. We have 2 children, and my wife is a physical therapist, and I was working in Switzerland as a pastor, and we were looking for something where we could work in international context, and at the same time we wanted to work on our jobs, and somehow Mercy Ships
Came to the
showed up, and that's why we're here. And we arrived a few years ago. We very much enjoy being here and enjoy serving in the chaplaincy.
Yeah, and we actually worked together for
That's right. Yeah.
1 year before, or half a year. I left
That's
for a
right.
couple months, but we worked briefly together before I left the ship. Tell me about what not only what a senior chaplain does, but what does chaplaincy do in general on the ship?
Chaplaincy, I often joke about it that we have the best job on the ship because we have time for people.
Yeah.
We have capacity to spend time with people as the need is, and that's our job. It's the crew to care for the spiritual and emotional need of the crew as much as we are able to do that. Really, we want to inspire the crew to follow Jesus. We want to inspire the crew to live our core values. We want to inspire the crew to care for one another. That's what we do, and very often we use this image that Jesus has used in the Bible about the Good Samaritan. It's a very famous story in the Bible about a man who traveled the road, encountered a person who was hurt and bruised, and in that moment had the time and the compassion, felt deep in his stomach the pain of this person and responded, took care of the need. And we're not always the Good Samaritan, but we want to strive to become a Good Samaritan, and we want to inspire the crew to become a Good Samaritan to the people around us, whether that's crew, patients, people of Senegal. That's what we do.
Chaplaincy really does kind of function as the pastoral church of the
In some
ship.
way it is, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about like what you offer as chaplains and what you do, what people can expect.
Yeah. Well, in some ways, the chaplaincy works very similar like a church. We have community worship service, community gatherings. We have community groups where people are encouraged to study the Bible together or spend time in groups together. We have one-on-ones that we do if there's an emergency or crisis or just pastoral care for individuals. We're available for that. So in some ways, these are very pastoral functions that you have in a church. But there's also things that are very different. And in Switzerland, in a church, you often have people from the same or similar culture. And here on the ship, it's just the opposite. You have people from all different kinds of cultures, worldviews, backgrounds, languages. So I think that is also different, the professions and the cultures. There's a lot more that's also a bit different than a church, but in some ways it's similar.
It is, you're right. Just a lot more to, it's not like our community meetings or our church services are like one denomination either.
Right.
So that makes it very creative, I'm guessing, when you plan church service or plan anything, you have to be aware of all the different denominations that are coming together in this church. What has been your favorite part about being a chaplain on the African Mercy?
That's a good question.
It's a broad question.
That's a good question. Well, it's a privilege to be so close to the medical people and to actually see the patients being transformed just 2 decks below us. So to be so close to the hospital and to see the patients come on board and walk off ship transformed, certainly physically, hopefully also emotionally. That is an incredible privilege, and sometimes we don't see the transformation happening that quick, but here it happens every day. We're just the blind who come on board.
It's crazy, It still amazes me, and I've seen it as well. It's like it doesn't get old.
It doesn't.
Tell us a little bit about how many people are on your team. And then for people who might be interested in joining that team one day, when there are openings, what would be your word of advice or your encouragement to them when it comes to being a chaplain on the ship?
Currently we have 4 chaplains for the crew on board, so that's our team. And we're always a bit on the lookout for new potential candidates for chaplaincy, and obviously we're having a similar function like a church, so we're looking for people with a theological background. I believe there's a number of things, but theological training, an openness to this different cultures here on the ship, a heart to serve the people, and I think the Good Samaritan, I believe, is a leading, guiding story if you can identify with that. There's positions that are opening up once in a while.
Chaplain,
Let us know.
No, that's great. Thank you so much for taking the time to share. And it's definitely a department. I encourage you, even if you're not coming to be a chaplain, to take advantage of the resources that are available in the offices at the end of Deck 5.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's a counselor and there's chaplains, and they're here to serve you and help you through this journey. So thank you, Andres, for talking.
Yeah, thank you. It's very good to be here.